About to start on the dump pipe. So the dump pipe on this is going to be a 3.5 inch pipe using some mandrel bends, 3-inch V-band outlet from the turbine, and just a cone reducer to 3.5 inch. The first thing I want to do is weld the V-band to this reducer. I want to do it now while I can rotate the part so it doesn't become an issue once half the exhaust is fitted. So I'm just going to clamp it down to this block of aluminium. And that's going to allow two things. One, to allow me to purge the part, so this is blocking off the V-band. The other is to provide a chill block to help take the heat away from the V-band while we weld it. So I do have some purge plugs, but they're only for 3-inch pipe. I don't have any for 3.5. In this instance, alfoil works perfectly. I'm just going to use a second argon bottle for purging only. I do have a twin regulator manifold, but I never get great results with it, so just running 2 bottles. So just popping the purge line through the alfoil. Just pop a little hole in for the air to be able to come back out as the argon displaces the oxygen. I'll just let that purge for a second. And I'll just check that this is going to spin without pulling the alfoil off. We all have Furic cups for welding our stainless steel, but I broke mine on my last job. I do have a little Pyrex number 8, but that's no good. So a good substitute for your Furic cup to get you out of trouble like I need to. A number 10 with a gauze inside of it from a Furic cup. That actually works really well for me, and will certainly get us out of trouble on this job. That was 5 joints, an hour and a half. Every time I start stainless steel welding, I think, why don't I do more? 20 minutes goes past and I realise why I don't do much stainless steel welding. Not too bad though. The exhaust is removed. I'm going to be fitting a V-band in this 3.5 inch section here. So I've just marked where I'm going to cut it here. I'm going to chop this off with an angle grinder, clean it up, weld the V-band on and refit it back to the car. So the pipe on this exhaust is 3 1/4. We're running 3.5 inch dump pipe. So I'm actually just going to weld on a 3.5 inch, just a band of pipe to space out to suit the V-band, only because the V-band is a slip fit. So it's designed to slip over the 3.5 inch, and it's quite a lot larger than 3 1/4 inch. So we'll step it this way. No point making a reducer or an expander or anything like that, in my opinion. So I'm just going to go ahead and weld around here and then just bridge between the V-band and this piece. So this is the final piece of the dump pipe. This will be the capped section that connects to the factory exhaust. So I'm just about to set up to start welding that. So on this exhaust I'm using 1.6mm 304 stainless steel tube. One thing that I used to get asked a lot is what filler rod do I use? Most welding stores are going to sell you a 1.6mm as their smallest size in either a 316 or a 308 or a 309. I will use a 0.8mm MIG welding wire and just cut it into small little lengths and weld my 1.6mm tube that way. Instead of dabbing, you're feeding the filler wire in, but because it's such a small diameter, you get a lot more control over it. So that's just my little tip for you guys trying to get that really clean looking weld on stainless steel. Also doesn't affect the heat of the puddle too much while you're welding using such a small filler wire. It's not cooling it down the way that a 1.6mm wire will. So if you're struggling to get that nice shiny, sounds a bit like an infomercial, if you're struggling to get that nice shiny stainless steel weld along with a big gas cup, maybe try using some stainless steel MIG wire for your TIG welding. And don't forget to purge it. Purging is key. Haven't busted out this old girl for a little while. It's just a big old pipe plant. So the goal here is to weld this joiner between the screamer and the dump pipe, to tie the two together. This is definitely one of those jobs where I miss my old workshop with a hoist. Whoa. So one of the really cool things that happens when you add an extension cord to your welder is the amperage gets all screwy. Not only does it just drop the amperage as you'd expect, get focus there, not only does it drop the amperage like you'd expect with an extension cord, but the current really fluctuates. And in a situation like that where I'm laying on the floor under a car that's 1.5 feet up in the air, operating the foot pedal with my knee or my hip in that case, it's just a pain in the ass, but it's done now. I'm about to weld this bracket on for the screamer pipe to locate that, and while it's out I'm going to fit 2 oxygen sensors. This is the hole saw that I use to cut my oxygen bung holes. Pretty sure I forgot to push record before I started. I slid up a bowl of alfoil to about here to block the pipe off, and then I've just purged this section to weld this on. I'm about to weld this bracket on here. I'm actually not going to purge this. I'm going to run about 80 amps and just weld on the outside. This one I'm going to use a 309L put my tick finger on and buzz up the backside. I've plugged up this end. I've put a bowl of alfoil somewhere around here. Because I can't see it here, I have also plugged up the other end, and I'm just going to purge it for another minute longer than normal, just in case this one's not sealing well enough. Do you wonder how I get this piece of alfoil out? So next step on this project is to weld on the mating bracket to the one we just did on the dump pipe. So same again, I'm just going to use 80 amps, 309 rod and no purge on this, and just weld this big, it's just 8mm thick lump of stainless steel. Done. I'm just going to let those fittings that we welded on cool down. While that's happening, I'm going to make a little turn down piece for the lower V-band. It's 3 o'clock on Saturday. I did not want to leave before the dump pipe was finished on this car here. Dump pipe and screamer pipe are complete. Both screamer and dump come down both with a flex joint in them. The screamer pipe has a 90-degree turn down on it, which is also V-banded, so it can be plumbed into the dump pipe at a later date without the hassle of having to remove it. Trying to get good ground clearance. You can see when I'm in line with the chassis rails here. It was very hard to do anything with this rear section of exhaust. If anything, this piece here would need to be rotated. So at a later date, maybe we'll take care of something like this, but they have put a 7-degree bend in this piece of pipe for the cat. So when we do repair the exhaust later, we'll simply be able to rotate the cat and lift that whole section up. So I tried to do my best to future-proof it for at least the part that I made. I definitely don't enjoy working under a car without a hoist, and for that I'm going to say publicly I do not do this type of work and will not in the future. But you've got to do one every now and then just to remind yourself. So as always, thank you guys so much for spending this time with me. I truly appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.